And hello, everyone, and welcome to another one of our Prince Spreecasts. We have Dr. Funkenberry, we have our special guest, and I want to welcome everybody and explain some of the rules as how we get this chat started. It's going to be a lot of fun. This is our third one in 2013. We did a couple back in 2012, but those are old news. This is the new stuff, and we're very excited. We have a lot to talk about. The Dakota show is from last week. We have a new website to talk about. There's a pretty good Billboard article that I was very impressed with. So we've got all those things to start with, and I want to remind everyone it's a interactive conversation. You folks can easily sign up for Spreecast, especially if you have Twitter or Facebook. It literally takes 2 seconds. You can go into the chat room. You can submit questions that we can put on the screen, and we can do it just like this. I'll demonstrate this. Here, this is Karen. She wanted to say hello, and there you have. Karen says hello. So you can do that, and then if you have a working webcam, you can also come on the screen and say hello to Dr. Funkenberry. You can say hello to everybody under the sun, including our special guest, Bobby Z. So without further ado, it is time to bring our man, Dr. Funkenberry, back to the show. Let's welcome him in.
Every day when I wake up, gotta make up another reason to make it last. Mr. Steak up.
How's it going, guys? And Seth disappeared. I guess my thing was a little too funky for him.
I guess so. What's going on, Doc? This is a good look for you.
You like the hat? You like the hat? Okay.
Very nice. Very nice. And you're getting everybody likes what they see so far.
Don't be fronting. Y'all know it's luxurious.
Very nice. All right. For all the people that wanted my
shirt guys?
All the people that wanted my shirt, you have to come back and finally get his hat. That's what you have to do. All right, where do we begin, my friend? There's a lot going on this week. I thought we were just going to be recapping what took place in Minneapolis.
Let us begin.
Where do you want to go? The website?
Let us begin. The website. Y'all like that? Y'all kind of got surprised with that? What did you think of it, Seth?
I thought it was great to see. It was really surprising. And, of course, we found out through the great Twitter handle, Third Eye Girl. And I'm putting the website. For those of you who did not know, if you've been living under a rock, go to this website there. That is Prince's new website. And it has great music. It has a Screwdriver as well as some other treats and some other special things. And I'm sure there's going to be a lot more coming from it. It's going to be absolutely outstanding. How did you find out about it? What was your reaction when you saw it?
What was my reaction? I thought it was pretty cool. It caught everyone by surprise. It was announced through Billboard, through their relaunch with their iPad, the iPad app, and it had an advertisement for the website. And it's also featured in the magazine, the print version, on newsstands that are disappearing quicker than floridic problems. We'll get into that a little bit later. But I liked it. I liked that they had the Screwdriver. Everything looked great. I love the little advertisement for Montreux. The little teaser was awesome. And giving much love to a great artist named Andy Allo as well. Just shows you that there is big things in 2013. People were like, yeah, right. You guys, we talked about a website, the first Spreecast, and you guys are getting it. There will be some other stuff. There will be some more surprises. Can't say everything that's going to happen, but you guys should be thoroughly pleased, and we'll leave it at that. I do see that a lot of people were shocked about the website happening, and yeah, Seth, maybe you've been dancing a lot to Screwdriver, losing some weight, buddy, huh?
There you go. You like that? That's my new
You're
favorite.
all shapely.
I didn't want to interrupt Erica's comment about a temporary website, but I had to match up, and Patty as well. Patty still wants my my NPG shirt. I couldn't wear the NPG shirt. I do have the lotus flower shirt, but it's 10 degrees outside. I feel like I'm in Minnesota. It's so cold outside.
You know what? That lotus flower thing, that's a sore subject. Let's not bring that up. Let's concentrate on 2013
Okay.
and the many surprises it's gonna bring.
Very nice.
So,
Very nice.
so the website is amazing. Everything is cool. Now, what did you think about the Billboard article? I hear that you were mentioned in it, right?
Yeah, it was funny. You tipped me off on it on a text message, and I saw it. The article, which is available in newsstands now. You have it in your hands. It's also available on the iPad, and it was pretty cool. It's a great interview, and the article is very interesting about the various subjects that are brought up. And I'm curious to get people's thoughts on what you thought of the article, not just the fact that it apparently. Some people at Paisley Park watch the show. There's got to be more to it than that, right?
Your mom watched it, Seth. Your mom.
So,
I'm playing with you. Is there more? Is there more to it? I'm just gonna go with the answer of whatever you think is true.
no, I thought it was the article was great. It talks about having the new people in the band. I thought that was pretty impressive, and I like the idea that he was very interested in talking about music being owned, and it kind of brings us back to some of the things that we talked about in a past show about ownership and who has music and whether or not people should just be able to download music for with without contributing something in terms of artists and artists' work. And there's a lot of different angles of that. And I thought the article was pretty representative of what a lot of these discussions have been like.
Yeah, and you know what? Something that we didn't discuss that I see people are talking about on the screen, the Larry Graham documentary. Because that guy is funky. He invented the bass slapping concepts. Okay?
Yeah.
You can't mess with that. Plain and simple. So and then another thing that someone's mentioning, Erica, right now about the Quiet Challenge, because Prince has allowed journalists to tape tape record or take notes. There's a pretty good reason for that. You know what I don't like is that, say today, I may feel like having, this morning I may have felt like having cornflakes for breakfast. Someone's going to think that cornflakes are my favorite thing, and that's just what I wanted today. I may want frosted flakes tomorrow. But the thing is when you have something on record or recorded or printed, people spend more time thinking about that, of what you said that day, and that's what reflected that day, not what you want every day. When it comes to interviews, they're getting that day of how you felt. You can change your mind. And people have to understand sometimes you are allowed to change your mind. Just accept stuff and move on. And that's why I kind of trip on interviews, and I ask for email interviews, and we'll get into that in a minute. But the Billboard article was well written, a lot better than something that was supposed to be done with the Tribune. I did like that they name checked me. I appreciate that. I do wish that the name check came with the paycheck, but maybe in the future. But it's very cool that Prince is even mentioning my site. He doesn't have to do that. That's awesome. And for Billboard to print it and actually get it right, that's even better. You know, um, it's just really really cool. I feel so fortunate to be somewhat involved in kind of getting like Prince news out there. I mean, he's just amazing, and I'm sure a lot of you guys agree. So it's just pimping. Now I want to talk about something real quick. Did you see I sent you some stuff regarding the Tribune? Oh, Prince must dig me. I don't know. You tell me. Um, But the Tribune stuff, there's some stuff that I sent you that what happened was is the Tribune contacted me, wanting to do an interview with me. And sometimes when it comes to Minnesota press, Prince loves his hometown. He's got mad love for his hometown. Sometimes the press is a little unfair to him. So what I did is when the Tribune sent me some questions, I sent them to Prince to look over. Surprisingly, Prince answered all the questions. and kind of gave the Tribune an exclusive interview, and they didn't even realize what the heck they had. Now you have the thing on the bottom. The first question the guy asked was like, "Can you tell me how you got this info first and so quickly?" And Prince said, "Doc has always been very balanced in his coverage of the work, but very supportive at the same time. A friend." Now I think the guy thought I was responding myself like I'm the Rock instead of the Doc.
Right.
And I don't think you guys want to smell what I'm cooking. But he wasn't getting it at that Prince. And then there was another person kind of answering the questions, and we'll get into that. But I don't talk in the third person. And, you know, it's always nice to have friends in this world. I don't have many of them. There's not a lot of people I trust. It just seems that a lot of people I consider friends are the ones talking the most mess about me behind my back. Now with the quote that you're seeing on the screen right now, it was asked like, you know, why did Prince want to play the Dakota? And the answer was, and we don't know who was written by with this one, we'll just get into that the MPG had already put up the space on hold for their ongoing rehearsals since Fun was at Paisley Park. Usually Fun is always there at Paisley Park, not the band, not the band. It was decided last minute. Hey, Seth, you want to keep your day job? Don't quit it. Okay, so it was decided last minute to open the Dakota doors to the public, you know, to witness what was going on in preparations for the World Tour. World Tour, you guys are hearing that, right? You guys are seeing that. Preparations for a World Tour. And the guy from the Tribune wasn't going to publish this and let you guys know. So we had to drop this news on you right now. And I think it's really cool. The Muhammad Ali, the greatest of all time, trained in public gyms that are open to the press. And this was the MPG's prime inspiration to do that. How awesome is that? And that's why I'm so glad that we're going to have Bobby Z on in a little bit to talk about the Dakota shows and what he witnessed. That's freaking amazing. And I said frickin', okay? Go on with the next one, please.
Okay.
I want to get through this because I'm excited to have Bobby on and I want to hear about these shows.
Be on the show in a moment.
And then, you know, the reporter followed up with a question. Any insight into why he's doing these shows? Man, reporters, I swear. Why does he need a reason? Maybe he just wants to jam and have a good time. Maybe he just wants to show off his nice little hat, you know, like I do. Okay? Now it's all flopping around. Anyway, you know, several new musicians have joined the MPG and need to get on-the-job training. A lot of musicians play differently when they're being watched by outsiders during rehearsal arrangements and are hashed out. And a lot of things are run over multiple times, different ways to decide upon the best approach. It's fascinating to watch. Something never before done in public. A good way to get to know the people is to watch them work. How cool is that? You know? And we totally agree with that. And those shows, that's probably why they're so amazing, is that it allows him and the band to just be free and just do whatever they want. Some reporters back in the day would say experiment. Prince doesn't experiment. He knows what the heck he's doing. Okay? That's reporter crap, and they don't know what they're talking about sometimes. Next thing, Seth, just so we can get by this, because I do want to get to Bobby.
Yep.
Did any word come from his management on why he picked the Dakota? Because it's better than the Key Club in LA. You know, look at this. And look how complimentary it is. The venue has always been very gracious to Prince and his camp. When artist friends in Anamora played the club, Prince augmented the decor and lighting to extent to the music he knew the audience was about to hear. It was gorgeous to say the least. So you can add Oscar winner, Grammy winner, Billboard Icon Award winner, and getting the decor and lighting just right for nightclubs. You can add that to his thing, you know? And can we get to the thing? And then this is the whole problem is we didn't know, because it was through email, of who was answering the questions. Was someone hacking into my email, someone accepting it, and then the question was put, who are you? I'm the Third Eye Girl, who are you? So we got a response from the Third Eye Girl, but we still don't know who she is.
There you go.
All right. Now with that, now Seth, I'm sure you were paying attention. You heard about how amazing these Dakota shows were, right?
Oh yeah. They were fantastic.
Now,
they were all different kinds of shows, and Some were more pop songs. Other ones were more low key. The energy level was amazing, and we heard all kinds of great things. And a lot of it was through Twitter. A lot of people were tweeting about it and writing articles, and it was very cool.
Mm-hmm. Now, do you want to give the introduction to our special guest, or would you want me, the guy who's been talking for too long, to do it?
Well, let's get to the heart of the matter here. This is the reason why everybody showed up tonight. Besides the fact that Doc had such a cool hat, this is music royalty here. And if we're talking about a guy named Prince, let's understand this guy toured with Prince for 20 years. Was a prime member of the drummer in the Revolution. He's a guy who has been through a lot in recent times. And has really done very well for himself. And he's a music icon. Let's just call him what he is, a music icon. Let's welcome in from frigid Minnesota. Here he is, Bobby Z. Welcome to Spreecast.
Hi, everybody. How you doing?
Thanks for joining us, man. So welcome. This is your virgin time here through Spreecast, so we'll be careful with you. And, a lot of things we were just talking about. You were at the shows, right? Prince invited you, and you got a chance to see your old friend there.
I did, and I have to say it was some of the most remarkable Prince shows I've ever seen. Now, I've seen some from the back, looking out, but he was just in complete top form. His musicianship has never been better. The humor. I mean, I guess if people don't know one thing about Prince is his sense of humor. He's probably one of the funniest guys I've ever met, and he was just having a blast. And the jokes were just flying between songs, during songs, and he was definitely enjoying his time in the small venue of the Dakota, where fans were literally touching him. And at one point, he actually handed the guitar, to some fans to hold it while he got the strap ready. And I think the people were going to faint. But as far as the band, the NPG, and the girls the next night, it was incredible. And there was even a moment when he said it was like a medicine show, and it was. There was a moment that was literally like a healing experience, like a religious experience for everyone, and it was really incredible. Very, very proud of everyone involved, especially Prince, of course.
Now, I saw that you kind of said that the Dakota Jazz Club shows, or the Dakota Jazz Club itself, will never be the same again. Just like First Avenue was never the same after 1983 when you guys dropped Purple Rain on that. That's a pretty interesting comparison, especially because you were part of that, and now for you to see it, how did you feel about that?
Prince has been hanging at the Dakota a little bit, and it's a great place to see music. You can sit down. They got good food. It's kind of like we used to have this place over north, like the Riverview Supper Club. I think Prince and I back in the day would hang out there, and it's kind of an atmosphere that's a little upscale and fun to go to. And he really enjoys his time there, and I think it was only a matter of time until he played there. But he did something absolutely amazing with the club on the Friday night show. When the girls played, he took all the tables out. Now, it's hard for you to know without being there what that's like, but all of a sudden it transformed it into like a ballroom, a wood floor, and
wow.
people were just gathered right up to the stage. So there was about 200 people just standing 5 feet away from him, and can't imagine the last time that ever happened. So that's kind of the feeling you got, that this club is transformed into, he configured it. He changed, he brought the sound down from the upstairs to the floor. He put the keyboard station stage left. He put the horn stage right, and got the band in there in a whole new way. And it'll never be the same because he just took this piece of clay and made something out of it. So it was a beautiful beautiful experience, to hear and see and be a part of, and it was remarkable. So that's why I said that it'll be transformed forever, and people will want to play there because Prince played there. It'll just change the whole dynamic of the Dakota and forever.
That's very, very cool. And of course, we see questions coming in already for Bobby, and we're going to get to some of these on screen. If you hit the submit question button, basically right under Bobby's chin there, if you hit submit question, you can send it directly to us, and we can pop it right on the screen. Also, if you have a working webcam, one thing we've seen on Spreecast so far, if you're a return viewer or if you're a new viewer, we can put up to 4 cameras on camera on the screen at any one time. And that means we have room for one more. We can actually submit a camera. So what you have to do is just hit the camera button, which is basically underneath my arm here, and just hit the camera button, and we'll chat with you, make sure we get everybody up, and we'll have to do it single file. We won't be able to have 2 people on like we normally do, but you can get a chance to come on camera and say hello to Bobby and say hello to Doc, and I'll be here too, and I'll say hello to you as well. But we can do that. Bobby, you said that it's a different perspective watching him on stage now than watching him from behind when you were playing the drums. When you think back to those days, the energy level wasn't different, but what was
No.
different?
Well, I mean, Prince goes through phases of music. I mean, obviously, I started from the very beginning, and so there was a whole evolution of everybody's got a beginning, and everybody grows. But he just started to grow so fast and learned so many skills so fast. But songwriting hasn't changed, and it was always one great song after another. So it's always the execution of these amazing songs. I said last year when we did our reunion that with classical music like Mozart and Beethoven, they wrote this stuff 200-300 years ago, and no one really has a recorded version of this stuff. So they take this written music and they kind of argue about it. Did he mean this? Did he mean that? Um, we're just getting this first generation. We got this composer, this Mozart in our midst, and this music will live for hundreds of years. So it has a evolution that grew. So I got to start from the very beginning, all the way to Parade, which is quite a journey, and the energy level, it seems more now. It seems like he's gained even more of the knowledge, the skill, and the prowess to continue to grow. He looks like he's still got momentum and still moving forward. So pretty remarkable.
Very cool. Very, very cool indeed. One of the things that a lot of people will ask when people want to know is they want to know how you got hooked up with him. When how did the whole thing start? Because we do want to ask you about the show last year and what you have coming up. But I think people who are younger fans who are just kind of learning this differently, there are a whole generation of people that found Prince after the revolution. So tell us about how the whole thing got started.
Well, I was a studio musician, and Prince was hanging around at the same studio, and we connected that way. There was we did our first session together, and I knew immediately that he was the greatest piano player. The first thing I heard him play that I ever heard. And then it dawned on me very quickly that there was something gifted, something special, and I saw it, you know, very early, and it took the world a very short time to catch up, but we got along, and we became friends. And the process of putting a group together was basically me, Prince, and Andre Simone. And we, the three of us, were the core. And then we did a lot of auditions with a lot of other people. And we went to LA and auditioned people. And we came back to Minneapolis and auditioned people. And we kind of had, the three of us kind of decided on who the other members would be. And Des was just an instant, I mean, his look, his feel, he was just the right guy. And then obviously that front line of Prince, Des, and Andre Simone was what made the power, that trio of those guys up front was a unmistakable front line. And we just kind of grew from there. And our friendship was forged in the beginning and continues to this day. Our professional work was amazing, and I enjoyed every minute of it. And it was an amazing, long, beautiful run. The beginning was a lot of fun because in the beginning, when we played like the Stone in San Francisco and some of these clubs like the Ritz in New York, I mean, when you're forging and pioneering with somebody as amazing as and iconic as Prince, everybody comes to see you. Bowie, Warhol, Kiss, I mean, it was pretty beyond belief actually. So it was a remarkable start, and obviously continues to this day with his show last week, which I told him was I told him I thought, that proved to me what I always knew, that he's the greatest entertainer that's ever lived, in my opinion. I don't think anybody can touch what he does, playing, singing, writing. It's remarkable.
It's great stuff.
Now,
Let's.
we're gonna before we do that, Seth, I do have a question I just thought of.
Okay.
Now, you guys are playing, and you guys started touring in '79. You guys had some shows at the Dirty Mind Tour in 1980. I know that was exciting, but did you? I mean, because I had this feeling like seeing Prince before during a period where he wasn't so popular. Did you around the '79, '80? Did you know that it was within a few years with the 1999 tour and then Purple Rain the movie, the phenomenal success that you guys were going to have, selling out arenas, not just one night, multiple nights? When did you get a feeling of that, and did you ever think that was just going to be, you guys were going to be the biggest act on the road at that time in the 80s?
Well, I mean, he had this amazing premonition of things to come. All of a sudden, like, we're gonna do Saturday Night Live, and it would be like, you just wouldn't believe it, and then it materialized. And then all of a sudden, there was a film writers on our tour bus, and there was talk of a movie, and it was just like things started to materialize. But I think the engine of the whole thing was hit songs, and his ability to create hit songs and keep them going. And it's really a remarkable journey of songs that keep catapulting it. I mean, the compositions are always the driver. So it as the songs kept getting bigger and bigger, the hits got bigger and bigger, things started to happen more and more. But in the very beginning, like I said before, everybody's got a beginning. And his beginning had its moments, and the Rolling Stones come to mind. That was a rough day, but obviously, sometimes through adversity you rise above and gain great strength, and nothing stops him. And he just forges ahead, and that's why it just kept going. And then obviously the movie was the biggest rock and roll movie since Help, and that's pretty big.
Let me ask you a question about that, because you hit on something that I thought was interesting. You guys were talking about plans and you guys were talking about ideas. Where was it? Was it on a bus? Was it on the road, on a plane, in a restaurant, at rehearsing? When he comes to you and says, "By the way, we're thinking of doing a movie. We're thinking of doing a movie." Like, how did it come up? What did it sound like? And what was your reaction?
Um, it was it was like beyond belief, of course. But you know, with Prince, you just there was no doubt that you said we're going to do a movie, you're going to do a movie. So we did the work and the preparation and put the time in, and it was just our job, and we just did our job, and we prepared for the movie. We took acting classes. We did the stuff that was necessary to get comfortable in front of that camera. Because I got to tell you, when that big Panavision 35 millimeter camera is in your face, it's a lot different than what you think. When you see dailies and your face is 100 feet up and down on the screen, uh, it's a way different experience. Every twitch of your face, everything is shown. So he prepped us really well to be actors, which we really, had done a lot of video, but and as the story came together, he had people like hang with us, with me and Dr. Fink and Brown Mark, and get to know us. So they
Mhm.
got to know us and got to know the band. So it was believable. I mean, obviously it was a process. It didn't happen overnight. Purple Rain was a big undertaking, and it it he just kind of knew and educated us, as well as he learned about the motion picture industry at the same time and how to make a good movie. And it all came together. The performance scenes were remarkable. The energy in the room when we filmed them, and so he really had a vision, and it was some of the most fun. I have to say that it was 20 below, and it was 4:30 in the morning when that phone call came, and it's not so glamorous at that point, but you can't describe the time of making a film like that, and the energy that it brought all the way to the Chinese theater doing the premiere, for MTV. I mean, it literally was a dream come true for sure.
That was great. Very, very cool. Doc, let's say we get to some viewer questions. You ready? We'll do a couple of text ones, and then we'll get some people on camera. I know some people have been waiting very patiently, so thank you very much for doing that. This is the first one. This was from John. What do you think?
Um, he's a fantastic drummer. A lot of the tracks that you hear, he played drums, and a lot of the tracks that you hear, he played everything. Uh, there's the one thing I noticed in the very beginning is the remarkable part was sometimes he'd just go out there and play the drum track by himself. So you don't know you don't know what's going on. This is so in the very beginning, you'd be in the studio and there'd just be a drum track. And then you're just kind of wondering, okay, well, where are we going now? And pick up the bass, all of a sudden it'd be a bass track. Pick up the guitar, it'd be a guitar track. So the song was in his head, and it would just form in front of you. I've seen him write lyrics with no corrections; they just come out. So um, it's the drumming is just another skill he has. I mean, I don't think he's weak in any of it. So his drumming is fantastic.
All right, let's do one more. Doc, you want to read it?
Uh,
Who played on a song? Who played drums on the song Head? Was it you or Prince?
that was Prince. Prince played drums on Head, and that. He wrote that. I remember. I think he wrote the lyrics first. I saw the lyric sheet, and I read that, and I was just like, this is interesting. And he said, "You don't know how funky it is." So, and then the next day it was done, and he goes, "Listen to this," and it was Head, and it was just like that summed up Prince at that time pretty well. And we played it live, like I think like 2 days later, or a relatively short period of time, and it became an iconic showstopper. So it was obviously lyrically forward at that time, and it made history.
He still plays an instrumental version of it, but no more lyrics. No more lyrics.
I
Got another.
I mean, the groove speaks for itself. You don't even need lyrics for that song. It's just so funky. The groove itself is just so funky.
What do you think of that, Bobby?
Absolutely.
What about the fact that he's changed his tune? And I heard him say in an interview that he knows his fans have children and he wants to encourage bringing the children to the show, and it's just changed his act. And I always thought of it as a growth thing for all the fans too. What was your take on that when you found that he wasn't singing those lyrics anymore?
I respected that. I mean, it's rock and roll when you're 19. The Beatles were 19, the Stones were 19, Prince was 19. We were young kids. We were kids, and I think when you're kids, rock and roll, at that point is when, like I said earlier, when we forged this, and we became, iconic, if you will. I think that you have to look at the whole picture, and as you mature, you do what you feel is right. And I don't if he wrote something that he felt, he has ownership. Speaking of the big O, right? He's got ownership of this stuff, so he can do whatever he wants with it. If he chooses not to play it or change the words, that's his prerogative.
Right.
Absolutely, I agree with that. Did you see someone in the room put that they should just change it from head to bread? Do you get enough?
Yeah. I mean, that's
hey, he's got a sense of humor. You never know.
I don't know about
I'd be
bread.
down with it. I'd be down with it.
Yeah.
Very nice, very nice. You guys ready to talk to some fans here? Some people that have been waiting patiently?
Sure, put them on.
For Bobby, let's do it. Let's get Bobby it. And I do want to have Bobby soon talk about his charity event coming up.
Of course.
For My Purple Heart Dogs. Hopefully we can get to that. Let's get some questions from the fans for him.
All right. Well, the first one is going to be a return viewer. She was on last week's show. She wanted to come on this week's show. So let's say hello to our friend Esperanza. Welcome to Spreecast.
Hi, everyone.
Hi. How you doing?
I'm good. Hello. How are you?
Good.
Okay. So what's
going
your
on
question?
tonight?
What's up?
Well, I had two actually, but I guess I'll leave it up to Mr. Bobby to decide which one to answer.
We'll see how good your first one is. We'll see about the second one.
All right. Well, Mr. Bobby, do you have any interesting or funny stories about any interactions with Prince and the rest of the band?
I think, when you're rehearsing that hard and you're working that hard, you can't help but release tension sometimes. And sometimes we would, just goof around. I remember, and when you're on tour, I mean, some of the most fun was, down at the Waffle House. Just got a truck stops, 2 o'clock in the morning. You get out of the bus and you just get into giggle fits, and something happens, and you're just releasing a lot of energy. You're just kids. You're on the road and you're having fun. One time, we took like before 9/11 and before flying. When flying was fun. We had some goofy story of we took like a megaphone or something, I don't know, out of an airplane, and we were goofing around with it. And, we all got detained or something. I don't know. I don't remember exactly, but it was pretty hilarious. And then, of course, the infamous food fight with the time. It was epic. It was literally it's worthy of its own movie, in my opinion. It went on for days. There was prisoners of war. There was weapon arsenals, and it all ended in an epic pie fight battle that in Cincinnati, where there was this great story that that Dr. Fink and I we were running from Jam and Lewis, who had eggs, and they were in shower caps from the hotel and hefty bag suits. They made suits out of plastic bags, and they were firing eggs at us. So we ran in. So it was the time Roger and Zapp, and then Prince. So we were the headliner, and Roger was in the middle of the show, and so we kind of ran into Roger's room, and he was like, "What's wrong with you guys?" It's like, we're being attacked, and he didn't know what we were talking about. So this food fight was it was an epic battle that carried into the hotels, and it was a blast. It was ridiculous, and it was a rock and roll fantasy. But it was serious business, of course. This food fight at that time. But no, when you look back on it now, it's just releasing some energy on tour.
Yeah, I'm sure. All right, Esperanza. What's your second question?
Wow. My second question was, were there any noticeable changes in your life once Purple Rain came out and it just exploded?
Good question.
Well, of course, the great thing about it, though, is that we were still working very hard, and when you're working very hard, I imagine it's what it's like for a team that gets into, like these guys are in the Super Bowl right now. I mean, they don't really have time. They're thrilled, they're excited, but the best thing you can do is stay focused and work hard. If you see, like that Syracuse show that was out on VHS, stuff like that. I mean, you can tell that it was all about work, and our little private club of being in the Revolution, and a good show was a reward for hard work. So what it changed was there it is right there.
There you go.
That's it.
Don't
That
have a
was a fun
VCR, but it's a great show.
Yeah. Well, it changed. The movie changed everything because, I mean, like I said before, I mean, I'm probably known as a drummer because of the movie, because my face was on the big screen, and I said, a couple crazy lines, like "What difference does it make, man?" and stuff like that. People kind of come up to me sometimes and say that. So the movie changed. It made Prince and the Revolution different than, just an average band in the 80s. Obviously we became kind of like movie stars in a way. So that to this day, I think is the biggest difference between any band that came out of the 80s and us was we were in an Oscar-winning motion picture.
That's right. Hey, Esperanza, thanks for joining us again.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay, so let's try one more before we get back to our questions. Let's bring in Marco. Marco, welcome to Spreecast, and say hello to Bobby Z. And Dr. Funkenberry.
Hi,
How you doing, Marco?
hi. Much respect for Bobby, for Doctor, for Seth.
Thank you.
I have a question for Bobby. Who is the best drummer of Prince after Revolution era?
Well, the other night, Ronald RBJ was, what I saw was pretty remarkable. So I like John Blackwell. I'm a big fan of Blackwell. RBJ was pretty awesome. I thought Michael Bland's pretty awesome. Sheila E. I mean, I feel like I'm part of a pretty amazing little club there. I mean, obviously, humbled by their talents. But I think being in the drummer chair for Prince is a serious job, and it's you're kind of like I think of it as you're holding down the fort, and it's an important job to him. You're kind of driving the show. Prince and you are driving the show because the drummer takes the cues, and I mean, the beat to him is everything. So I love them all. I think they're great, but I think he knows how to pick them. So they're all wonderful.
Hey, Marco, thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Marco.
Thanks, buddy. Good job. That's tough, man. Especially that's hard. Good job by him.
And Hannah, let's not forget Hannah. She really did a great job. She was really impressive, and it was her first show on Friday night with Prince at the Dakota, and the second show she was just spot on locked. So she's going to improve really quickly, and she's and Cora. I see people talking about Cora. I mean, they're all great. I mean, like I said, I mean, he's the drummer job is really really important. So they're all fantastic. I don't think that he would have anyone that wouldn't keep up to speed.
Absolutely, because I always feel I've seen Prince. We don't need to get into how many times I've seen him live. I didn't really travel to see him. If this week it's a lot more cold in Minnesota. I definitely probably would not be coming. It's a little too cold. But I have to tell you, when he's got a great drummer behind him, it makes him that much better live. Everything just seems to flow so much better when he has a great drummer. So when you say that drumming is so important, 100% as a concert goer, it frees my mind more when he has someone really great behind him that can keep up with him, because he's the greatest live performer out there. And when he has a drummer that's on point, I would be scared to be the person that has to play the Staples Center after he comes there and wrecks that place.
Well,
Maroon 5.
You just
Go ahead.
I mean, you raised the issue because arena drumming is where I had we started from clubs, and so I was the first one that had to go into these bigger rooms, and that's a challenge to play these bigger rooms to get the sound right. And so you really these guys that with the finesse and the intricacy they play with the arrangements he's got going now, it's really impressive. To get all the subtleties and all the stuff going in a big room like an arena, it's really really impressive.
All right, let's get to a couple more.
Seth, is there a few?
Yeah, we got to get some good
questions.
text
Yeah,
ones.
that's fine.
Thank you for that comment. Old folks, huh? Okay. I appreciate that.
You're under no obligation to answer this, but I thought this was a good one. Bobby, have you seen The Vault?
Of course it is. I mean, it's a tape locker at Paisley Park, and I don't know if it still exists now, but I mean, you got to store stuff somewhere, and there's tons of unreleased material. There's tons of videos. There's movies. He's a documentarian. He believes in capturing all this stuff, and it's amazing, wonderful stuff. But when you got so much good stuff, you have to really think about what you're going to release. So it's his prerogative, but it's definitely, definitely there. There's definitely there. Yeah.
I like Ben's comment. It's guarded by the two guys from the Get Off video. They're just standing there.
Probably meaner looking guys than that, But yeah, it's like Fort Knox or something. It's protected, but he's got a lot of stuff.
Let's go back to the crowd here.
Right.
By the way, if you're just joining us, you can sign up. You can if you hit the camera button right underneath my arm here, The camera button, you can get on camera and let us know you want to be on the show and say hello to Bobby Z in the remaining moments that we have. Let's grab Jester here. Jester's a buddy of ours, and let's get him on the screen. Jester, say hello to Bobby Z. Hold on. His camera is not working just yet. Hold on. Bear with me. There we
How you
go.
doing?
I think he's there.
Yeah, there.
Oh, his camera back X'd out. Oh well, I'm sorry. I tried. We tried to pop him on. If he can get back on, we can do it. Doc, take it.
Let's try to get him on. Yeah. Let's try to get him on a little bit. Why not? Why don't we make this guy's day and be politically correct, as he would say it? Why don't we get Joshua
Oh, okay.
on camera with Bobby Z right now?
Sure. There he is. What's up, Josh?
Hey guys, how we going? Seth, Dr. Funkenberry, and Bobby
wrong
Z.
guy.
It's truly an honor to be here with you, Bobby. Just a couple of questions, I guess, that I've got. First of all, I've got to give a shout out to a certain crew out there. So I'll just say hello.
Shh.
Okay, that's the secret code, I guess. Out the way. Have we lost Bobby there? Is he still?
I think he's getting refreshed here. That's the neat thing about
Okay.
Spreecast. They auto refresh you, so we'll get him back on in a second.
Okay, no worries. First of all, before I get to the questions, just in case Bobby can't hear this at the moment, just a quick plug to the Australian 21 Nights at the Sydney Opera House, or 21 Nights in Sydney Facebook page. And if everyone can go there and like that page for us, we've been pretty, over the moon since he was here back in May last year. And after he mentioned at that first or second show that, I think it was the second Sydney show that he'd like to play the Opera House someday. We've sort of started a campaign to get that, or to make that dream a reality. So if you just go to Facebook, look up Prince 21 Nights in Sydney, you'll find the page. Like it, share it, that would be fantastic. With that said, just a couple of questions for Bobby Z, if he can hear us, and if not, if you're able to repeat it for us, that'd be great. One was one of my favourite drumming parts is one of my favourite drum tracks is "Darling Nikki." It's just a very atmospheric song, and with the drums and the way they play it, it just gives the song so much. And yeah, just wondering if Bobby Z came up with those parts, or if Prince sort of had it in his idea and said, "Oh, I want it basically played like this or this." Just how he came up, or how they came up with the drums for that particular song, and also wondering what Bobby's favourite song was to play. I think he's back now.
Yeah, I think he is.
How you doing?
Hey, Bobby.
Hey, how you doing?
So yeah, in
Come
case
back,
you
Bobby. Come back. How you doing?
yeah, great, man. Yeah, just an honour to be on here with you, and hello from Adelaide, Australia. Yeah, just in case you didn't hear that before, I guess. Yeah, how did you guys come up with the drum parts for Darling Nikki? And what was your favourite song to play with the band, either in the studio or live, during your time with Prince and the Revolution?
Well, Darling Nikki was Prince overlaying stuff, and it's a remarkable drum track that that he did, and it really is. The challenge for me was to get that to be played live, which with the double kick at the end. So what we had to do some really creative work, and that was up to me. So we, to decipher that. So I think it's a remarkable track, and it was just genius work. And we pulled it off live, and I'm not going to give away the secret sauce on that, but
No, that's cool.
we were definitely able to pull it off. My favorite song to play, of course, is Purple Rain.
Right.
It's something emotional about that. right from the get-go, it had the feeling that it has today. And the mood when he started playing those chords, the feeling when he started singing that, it just had this emotional feeling that you still get. And to be the drummer on that was like no feeling in the world. I really feel that I got to play on a standard, as they call them, as musicians call them,
Yeah.
and it's a remarkable feeling when I hear that. And I thank Prince for that. It's a beautiful thing. So
Josh,
that's that.
thanks a lot for joining us, buddy.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right.
Now, Bobby, we will take a couple more questions afterwards, but I want to get to your Purple Heart organization and the event that you're having in First Avenue on March 9th. I would love to talk about that, and we're just so thankful that, 2 years ago, you can explain to people what happened. We're so thankful tonight that you're able to join us here for many reasons. And one of the reasons, of course, is what happened to you 2 years ago that helped you kickstart wanting to do the Purple Heart org event. Can you talk about that with us a little bit, please?
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's nothing like being told that you're basically a goner and then basically disappearing. And my family had to say goodbye. And you know, I had some real trouble. I basically had the proverbial heart attack on the table, and they were trying to insert these stents, which became the word that was the trigger for what you're talking about. The research behind that. My father, when he had trouble, they were sticking a balloon in called angioplasty.
Yep.
And they were doing this blind. And from one generation to that, I watched my entire third stent on a big screen at the University of Minnesota live. I watched my heart being worked on live. I was, of course, given some twilight sleep, but I remember every part of it. It was the most incredible thing I've ever seen on TV, which motivated me to think that the American Heart Association has done so much good and so much with their research, and they're such a great organization that what can I do to help? And I thought, well, in what I have in my toolkit is Prince and the Revolution, and I didn't think that Prince would really, want to go back to First Avenue and do that, but he was so gracious and wonderful. You find out who your friends are when you're sick like that, and he called the hospital, he talked to my wife Vicky faster than anyone, and he was on this thing, and you could feel the wind. I heard the Madison Square Garden experience that I heard about, and people were whispering, and then all of a sudden you could feel the energy that he created in a healing sense that's still with me today. And that beautiful thing of letting the revolution happen in the reunion was just an incredible experience. I guess the American Heart Association was just the right place to go because they really do research and education, and they have the tools. So last year, when we did the revolution, they have these great videos with the guy from The Hangover and Elizabeth Banks, and they're really fun and educational. And we actually saved lives, and that's very addicting. When you get letters and say, "Hey, I saw your show," or "I heard you on the radio or on TV," and my uncle was this and that, and we took him in and we saved his life. I mean, you can't beat that. So I didn't really know what to do for the second year, but Questlove was so gracious. He wanted to come back, and he was friends with Maya Rudolph, and I knew that she did this act called Princess, and I asked her, and people are just are anxious to help. So we've got an amazing cast. It's called Bobby Z and Friends this year, and we've got Questlove, and we got Maya Rudolph and her partner Gretchen as Princess. But for a lot of fun, we're bringing back Andre Simone and Des Dickerson, Dr. Fink. I mean, Andre, to play with Andre again is going to be fantastic, and he's such an amazing old friend. and just to create this environment now that we're helping people learn. I'm going to have science class this year, and we're going to give out some facts that that are life-saving facts, and it's just such a great cause. And the American Heart Association is so together with this, and I can go into the bars. I can go into First Avenue where people are drinking and smoking outside, and that's the people that need the message. And so we're gonna preach to the choir, and we're gonna get in there, and we're gonna save some more lives. So I just thank you all for the support on that and mentioning it. It's just wonderful, and I just like to thank Prince for letting it happen again, because it's gonna be a great night. We got Alexander O'Neill, we got Stokely from Mint Condition,
Wow.
and we're rumblings of some other folks too, but we're gonna have a great time.
Before you continue, and it's an amazing story, and I didn't want to make light of anything that you were saying, because I know everybody was glued to your ears, but these are some of the things that you saw in the chat. Ben has a very serious question about your heart surgery. Is there a bootleg of it?
I wish there was. You know what? There might be. To see this thing, they had like a bank of NASA scientists behind this computer bank, and I'm in this big room, and it's at the University of Minnesota, and it's we're the Golden Gophers, so there's like gophers on the wall, and it's like you're in this giant laboratory, and it's absolutely remarkable what they can do, and they've done that because of the research, and we're funding the research, and we're helping the research, and that's what it's all about.
And then one more.
I'll try to get that bootleg.
There you go. And then one more. This was during the story. This Spreecast should be 24/7. It's like a purple CNN.
We should have a purple channel, and we'll talk all night.
There you go. Very cool. And it's very great. Tell us about last year's event. I know a lot of people saw news clippings of it and whatnot, but the reunion of the revolution and the first time you did something like this after your surgery.
Well, playing the drums became much more important after the surgery. It was like I didn't want to take that for granted anymore, and I called Winnie and Lisa right away, and after Prince said it was cool, and Wendy said, "You're going to ask us to play, right?" And before I could say, yes, she said, "Lisa's nodding yes." So that was the nucleus of it. And then I felt the energy, excitement, Mark and Matt, of course. And then it was our idea to have Des come join us, which was a remarkable extra thing. So we had that, and we got together, and Des and Matt and I were some of the original guys, so the Prince songbook was kind of open pretty wide. So we did some fun stuff, back to the first couple albums, and we just did what we did. We did what we did the best we could do. It's not the same without Prince, of course, but people seemed happy, and it was about the message as much as it was about the music, and I'm thrilled that people were happy with it, and I'm thrilled that we're doing it again. It's a great honor to be doing this for the cause.
It's very cool, and it must have been a great experience. I'm glad, Doc, that you put the link up there to the site, and just so people know, if you're watching this on archive or if you're watching this live, you can click directly on those words right there. You click directly on the text, and it'll open up another tab. It won't make you leave the show, so don't think you can't log on right now. You can check out that site while you're watching the show or listening to the show and whatnot. So that it's very important that people know that clicking on any link that we put on the screen is not going to take you away from the show. And I think a lot of people hesitate because they don't want to lose it, because they're afraid they're not going to get it back. So we definitely have that. And I love the chat room talking about the Parade album. I just think that's very cool and very good stuff. In our remaining moments, there are a couple of people that we wanted to get to. We're going to give Jester another try. He was vetted. He was all set. And then his PC, supposedly, crapped out. And so now we're in this thing where he says he's on a Mac, and that's better. I'm personally a PC, so we're going to have this debate another time. But let's try again. Jester coming on Spreecast. Let's see if this time it works.
Hey.
There it is.
Hey,
Much love to
how you
you,
doing,
Bobby.
Jester?
I'm doing all right. I'm so honored to talk to you. I love all of your drumming. I think you're just an inspiration. I'm glad that you're going forth with life, benefit,
Thank,
celebrating life, and all that jazz.
thank you
Um,
very much.
Someone already asked one of my questions, but I guess I want to ask, how did you value the transition? I mean, you were with him from the beginning, and then you went into Parade and Around the World in a Day. How was it coping with the transition from the funk to something light like Raspberry Beret?
Good
Well,
question.
thank you for that. I was kind of a versatile drummer when I was younger. I like to substitute. It was a weird
Oh,
thing at the union back then, a musicians union. You know, if a guy didn't show up, you know, I played in a polka band one night and kind of like a jazz band the other night, and I would learn all these kind of versatile things. And you know, obviously Prince is a very versatile songwriter, musician is all over the map. And I was kind of a rock drummer, so you know, we were into like Mother's Finest and some, you know, there was some interesting stuff back then.
yeah.
So. We kind of got on the same page, or I could adapt. So he had to teach me the funk a little bit. You know, I had to learn about that. But uh, once I got that down, you know, we could go from, you know, Bambi to Treat Me So Bad to When You Were Mine to Head. You know, and I felt pretty comfortable, you know, going from those various styles because I had played everything from, country rock to funk. But I had to learn, you know, how to be disciplined, and he taught me the discipline that it takes to be a great drummer, you know, watching and learning and stuff like that, because you know the drummer is has to follow the leader, and he's as good a leader. He's like, you know, Count Basie, Duke Ellington kind of stuff
Right,
here, you know, we're talking about, and that stuff's moving 100 miles an hour, so
right.
you better know what you're doing, and you better watch and pay attention because those cues are flying, and he's sending them out even last week. I mean, these guys are flying, and they're going from song to song, and it's coming on the drummer to know, you know, tempo changes, arrangements, stuff's moving. So that was what I had to really, you know, get up to speed. So when you know, we all kind of learned in the beginning how to get going, but it was all about just, you know, learning the discipline that Prince has as a musician. He's perfect time, perfect pitch, in tune, in time, all the time. You know, us mere mortals don't really have. You know, we got to keep up with that. So keeping up
Yeah.
with him is the key.
Very
Oh,
cool.
wow. Wow. That's awesome. Thanks. I'm very happy to talk to you and be in here.
I'm very happy to talk to you, Chester.
Thank you.
Good
Really
seeing you,
appreciate it.
Jester. Good seeing you, man.
Good seeing you too, Doc. Nice to see you over camera.
All right,
Yeah,
thank
even
you,
though
guys.
you're a Mac guy, even though you're a Mac guy,
Mac is better than PC. I mean, this is a piece of crap.
we're gonna
But
we're gonna have
this,
we're gonna have to have another Spreecast, another debate. This thing's gonna go 24 hours. I promise you.
okay.
We'll
See
get
you,
it
buddy.
taken
All
care
right.
of, Jester. We'll take it
All
taken care
right.
All right. As we continue here, and I believe, and you're gonna crack up, Doc, but the other Joshua has left the building. So we were gonna get it. Oh no, he's here. It's just his camera is deactivated. So Joshua, if you get your camera back on, you can come on the show, and we'll have you back on. If anybody else wants to hit the camera button, we can hit your little camera button, and you can get on the show as well, and we can stay in our remaining moments. Um, when you found that everybody was getting back together, and everybody was seeing, do, did the other members of the band keep in touch with everybody? Like, do you guys do a good job of keeping in touch since you guys don't tour together anymore?
You know, everybody's busy, and life goes on, but there's a warmth and a friendship that, you know, we're all friends, and at any given time, you know, a text, a phone call, something, you know, it just check, you know, when I was down, they were all there, and that's like I said, when it counts, you find out, when it counts, and they were all there, and that means the world to me. So uh, it's wonderful to have friends like that. And a band is a very special thing. It's a very unique situation. You're in a very intimate, condensed setting with people in a very, very uh, intense environment. That touring is, you're locked, and it's you're in the bubble, and you don't forget that stuff. I went on many, many tours with Prince, and it's just those memories are just etched forever. One brilliant night after another. It was so many remarkable nights that during not just Purple Rain, like I said in the beginning, it was just as fun in the beginning. Purple Rain was fun because it's huge, but there's also the beginning was so fun playing the little clubs in Atlanta and stuff like that. I mean, that's just as thrilling to have that in the memory banks too. So, um, I love those guys. I love them all. I love, I mean, everybody's is just part of my heart and soul. So it's a beautiful, beautiful thing to have these humans in my life.
All right, let's grab one more viewer that we wanted to pop on the show. Joshua is back, and his internet is clear, and he is on Spreecast. There you go, Joshua. Welcome.
Hello, Mr. Rivkin. I salute you, sir.
All right.
I've
Thank you,
been a
Joshua.
fan since 1978.
Mm.
I'm 43 years old. I've followed you. 3 questions, and I got to keep it quick. So, number 1, what was it like to go from a regular drum kit to integrating electronics?
Well, Prince was, pioneered again. The innovation to take the box and make it pads was pretty much all his, and with Roger and Lynn,
Right.
we had to build an interface. The interface came out, and there wasn't really much technology to support that at that time. So we were trying various different configurations, but we got it down. And with the invention of Simmons pads that came along, so we would use the Simmons brain, but at the same time those pads were used to trigger. So it was a process. It was something he really believed in and was way early on, and it created what we know today as playable electric drums. I believe that he, again, in so many ways, a pioneer, and that was his dream, is that this drum set would be playable, and it was. And by the time we got to, Purple Rain, because we had started to do this as early as Controversy.
Yes.
It was a working set, and
Well,
you never knew what was going
if
on.
I may
I
say,
mean, that
Mr.
was the fun
Rivkin,
part.
you had those 4 drum triggers. You know what I mean? Those little small rototoms that you could trigger off of.
Yeah, you could trigger off them, and they had their own brain too. So they were drum synthesizers actually, and
Okay.
he loved recording with those. So I was just taking basically what was happening in the studio and bringing that live. So it was a lot of fun to play with that stuff. Bombs, explosions. You could do all kinds of fun stuff that drummers had never even thought of before. So all of a sudden, we're doing bombs on the drum kit, which was a blast in 1999. You're doing, literally explosions from the kit. So it was a blast.
Well, I got to say, on that, I'm sorry, because I know my time's short. On the 1986 birthday concert that you did, I mean, you have timpani at, at your lower toms,
Mm,
when you're doing Another Lover. You're like, boom, boom, and it's timpani.
yeah,
How was that?
yeah. We go ahead.
I'm saying, I mean, how cool was that? And how hard was it to, because you know, I saw you playing, you know, the stick against the pressure of the tom when we were talking about from 84 to 86. I mean, when you hit it,
Mhm.
hit it. You know what I mean? During Purple Rain.
No.
And it was a little lighter when it came to Parade. You know, there was a little more subtlety there.
Technology was improving, and we were, you know, at that point, you know, people were bringing their technology to Prince as he used it in the studio.
Okay.
You know, that's how it happened. He would use it in the studio on a track, and then it'd bring it to the show later. So the album would have the technology or the instrument, and then it would be, you know, brought live. So technology moved very quickly after we, you know, first developed this, and electronic drums and Rolands, and you know, and all of a sudden there was various pads and samples were triggered, and you know, you could lock up better and do stuff better. So, you know, he was at the forefront of technology, and it moved quickly. So, you know, sure, there was dynamics, is what you're talking about. I think you're
Right.
talking about is the ability to get louder, softer, or softer, louder. You know, the pads started to be able to do that. Whereas in the beginning, it was just one sound. It was just hit on or off. So,
Right. It was just that.
yeah,
Right. Yeah.
yeah.
So
hmm
one more question, and I know I have to go. I'm sorry, guys. Was that a
There it
piccolo
is. We're
snare
gonna try
on
to
the
nickel.
Parade tour?
I'm sorry, what was that?
Was that a piccolo snare on the Parade tour?
Uh,
It was high. It
you know,
sounded
we
high
had a
and
piccolo.
tight.
Well, we had a couple snares, and you know, we would even switch snares out. I mean, there was nothing that, you know, there was snares. We had a piccolo snare, and
Like
I
in the
loved that
middle,
piccolo
and the one
snare.
on the left was the other one.
Yeah, well, there was, you know, I mean, there was various configurations. Like I said, I don't like to give out the secret sauce.
Understood.
You know,
I'm
it's
just okay. Understood.
you know, I don't
Can
like
I
to
friend
divulge
you
the
on
secrets,
Facebook
but
if that's all right?
yeah, you know, sure. I mean, I probably won't answer your question there either,
I know,
but
but okay.
you know, at the same time, you know, what you heard, I love the fact that it was kind of like you didn't know what was going on, and that was the Houdini of it, if you will. You know, that, you know, if the beat was playing, I was a percussion player. If the beat wasn't playing, I was a drummer. So I
Right.
had, you know, the ability to go both ways, or, you know, I mean, add kick drums, and you know, it was all, you know, it's Prince's design, this electronic, you know, feast of percussion, and it was so much fun to play it. Uh, you're an octopus if you're working for Prince. So I mean, I was an octopus, and you're
Yeah.
all over the place all the time. And you know, if you're not doing anything with your left hand, you're not doing your job. He'll find something for your left hand.
Well,
So
with all due respect,
it was
Mr. Rivkin, and I can say this, I mean, there were times, and you're looking at me right now, there were times where you would go and you would press this or you do that, or, you know, I could see it, you know, and it's really cool. I mean, to me, you were one of the greatest personas as far as percussionists, as his sound is concerned. And you did it at a time
I,
with a technological advance, which was amazing. And then he would take, you know, the kind of drums that you had, and he would put them with certain, you know, designs around them. And I thought that was pretty cool.
I mean, the way they looked. I mean, he's a designer. I mean, he's a fashion designer. He's a designer of drum sets. The Parade diamond drums. These are his drawings. These are his vision, and he would get, you know, these things got made, and it changed technology, and it changed the way people looked at this stuff. And it's absolutely remarkable that the technology that was going on back then. I looked at it like the Model T. You know, we were taking the drum machine literally, you know, for the first joyride on a set of pads. And if I'm the guy that you think, you know, did a good job, then thank you, and I appreciate that.
Well, it's great stuff. And Joshua, thank you very, very much. Thanks again for joining us. So, Bobby, when you hear from fans, as we kind of put a lid on this show and get set for our next week, and we are going to keep doing this show on Wednesdays, and when you hear from fans, people want to ask you mostly about the past. But I think the cool thing is that you follow all the current things. You know the Dakota shows. You know all the things. You know Third Eye Girl, and you know all those things. You keep up with the times as much as all the fans do.
Yeah, I'm a fan. I was, I was a fan first, one of the first fans, and I felt it immediately, and I'm captivated and blown away by it today. I was, there's just nobody like it. There's nobody that's gonna be that can do what he does, and just kind of business wise, I know there's a lot of talk, and I mean, here's a guy, in the '90s that was selling music on a website, and understood that the major label system is antiquated, really. You can't do that anymore. Artists, are not, a major label thing is really nothing more than a bank. And what happens is, you get a huge amount of debt. So you get a $250,000 video, but at the end of the day, it just benefits them. So you're in the hole for 250K. So, he really understood this early on, and I think people get it now, but he's been doing that for a long time. So I've appreciated the business savvy. I've appreciated the musicality, of course. But as a performer, like I said, I don't know if there's anybody that's ever been able to do that. I'm just lucky to be the guy that started, when he got his deal with Warner Brothers, and be the drummer. I'm just lucky to be that guy, because I'm still, and first and foremost, a fan and blown away. When I saw it at the Dakota the other night, I mean, you're just blown away. I mean, there's just nobody that can do that kind of entertainment, and take the mood up and down, take the crowd on a ride like that. Just pick up guitar, go one way, quiet it down, and just, you could hear a pin drop. It's just, there's nobody that has the command of the band and the audience like Prince.
That's very well stated. What do you think a conversation would be like between Dr. Fink and Dr. Funkenberry?
Between Prince and Dr. Funkenberry?
No. Dr. Fink and Dr. Funkenberry.
Oh, that would be funny.
The new
that
doctor
would be
show.
that would be a doctor off or something. I don't know. They both wear goofy costumes. Matt could wear his doctor suit, and Funk can wear that hat. That's a good close representation to what Prince wore. But what Prince wore was a little bit cooler. It was like a Pink Panther hat or something, and it had like a scarf thing, and he came out in that thing, and it's just another example of hilarity that was like, I couldn't believe it, but I mean, why not? Why not wear that that Panther hat or whatever that was? That was pretty awesome.
Great stuff. Great stuff. Very nice. Yeah, you can get Dr. Teeth from the Muppets. You can have all the doctors. Very good.
Yeah.
Very,
Lord,
very cool.
oh Lord.
Well, Bobby,
Now, wait, Seth.
Oh wait.
Hold on.
Oh, that's right. That's right. One
We
more.
gotta,
All right.
we gotta go there. So I'm sure you've seen the Chappelle Show skit about y'all playing some basketball with Charlie Murphy.
Yeah.
Now, Prince has said before that really happened. What is your recollection of that event?
Well, I mean, Prince is an amazing athlete. So we played a lot of basketball. We played touch football. We did all this stuff, and he's a great shooter and a great basketball player. So, I mean, we played a lot of basketball in LA at Sunset Sound. There was a hoop, and we did a lot of stuff and played a lot of basketball. So it's only natural that if you come into that world, you're going to play basketball. And I think people are probably surprised. I think it was the whole joke for them is that they were probably surprised that Prince was such a great athlete and played basketball. I think that's probably the shock. So, you know, there was a lot of, we had a lot of fun in LA. There was a lot of people that hung out, and it's a funny story. And the Rick James part, that part, we toured with Rick for 3.5 months. So I think that they're close, but the real Rick was maybe even more than they're saying. I learned a lot from Rick. I don't know if it was all the right stuff, but I learned a lot about life from Rick James.
There you go. Very
Rick
nice.
James.
And on that, what a
Another
great final
another
line there.
Chappelle's show scene to get into though.
I
Very
see all
nice.
not the drug stuff, but just about life. He's an interesting guy. I mean, that band was, that was interesting. But a
I'm
lot of
sure.
respect for them. That was a lot of fun.
No, that's that's a great story. What a great final line. Tremendous. Tremendous.
Thanks, guys.
stuff.
Thanks. I just want to say thank you to everybody. You guys were so amazing. The fans really, lifted my wife and family up when it was pretty scary. It was really bad. And when you reach out to the fans and you don't know when you're going to get back, but we got nothing but love and nothing but support. And I had a zillion messages of love and support that I sat in the hospital and just read this stuff, and it got me out. It really did. Prince, he was the wings, but there was so much support, so much love from everybody that I really. I just want to thank everybody, and if you can come to Minneapolis and support our show and do this, that's wonderful. If not, the American Heart Association is where you should, give a couple bucks, 3, 5, 10, 20, whatever you can. It's a good cause. Everybody's got heart disease in their family, and know somebody. Just take care of yourselves, and I love you guys.
Bobby, it's great to meet you. Thanks so much for coming on the show, and we'll definitely we'll talk again. We'll definitely have you on again.
Good luck, everybody, and
You're
we'll
welcome
talk soon.
anytime, Bobby.
Thank you, guys.
Bobby Z, ladies
Thank
and
you,
gentlemen.
guys.
Tremendous. Great
Thank
stuff. Great spot. Outstanding. Doc, a tremendous third show, buddy. We got really into the memories there. I know there's a lot going on currently, a lot with the website and all the stuff, and you with your costume. We could have talked about that, but what a fascinating conversation, and what a great guy. I love the thing I loved about this was you didn't know exactly where the show was going to go. It could have gone in so many different directions, and Bobby was really a lot of fun to watch, and I hope the fans get a kick out of that as well. That was fun.
Hope so too. And stay tuned next week at the same time. We'll probably have another special guest. We'll keep you informed, and there's always going to be something interesting to talk about. You guys found out possible world tour information earlier in the Spreecast, so those that missed it, you can come back and access it. And we had a very good time. And hope you guys had a fun time with us. Thank you so much.
And those are our Twitter handles. You can follow us on Twitter. Everybody who helps put the show together. Oh, and Third Eye Girl made an appearance there as well, so we can have that. Doc, I'll talk to you next week. And for everybody, follow us on Twitter, follow us on Spreecast, and have a great week, everyone.